In the heart of the frigid Arctic, a team of scientists embarked on a groundbreaking expedition. Their mission: to study the effects of climate change on the polar ice caps. Little did they know, they were about to stumble upon something far more chilling than they could have anticipated. Dr. Emily Morrison, a brilliant glaciologist, led the team, accompanied by her trusty crew of researchers and adventurers. Their excitement echoed through the icy expanse as they set up their base camp. As nightfall descended, a sense of unease spread among the team. Whispers of ancient legends began to circulate, stories of the dreaded Abominable Snowman, who was said to terrorize the region whenever humans defied the natural order. Dr. Morrison, ever the rational scientist, dismissed the tales as mere folklore. But deep down, a twinge of apprehension gnawed at her. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The first signs of trouble emerged during a routine data collection expedition. One of the team members, Peter, stumbled upon a set of enormous footprints leading deeper into unexplored territory. Peter's voice trembled as he described the jarring discovery to his colleagues. "You won't believe it. The footprints, they were massive, like nothing I've ever seen before. And they were fresh." Dr. Morrison exchanged worried glances with her team. "We must follow these tracks. We can't ignore the possibility that something otherworldly is lurking out here." Armed with their scientific instruments and mounted on skis, the team ventured into the frozen wilderness, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and curiosity. Night fell fast in the Arctic, enveloping the team in darkness. The chilling wind howled through the barren landscape, as if warning them of the impending danger that awaited. Just as exhaustion set in, they stumbled upon an ice cave ominously lit by an ethereal blue glow. The footprints vanished, but the sense of menace hung thick in the air. Hesitant but determined, Dr. Morrison led her team into the cavern, their headlamps piercing the eerie darkness and reflecting off the ice walls. Suddenly, a monstrous roar reverberated through the cave, causing the team members to stumble and tremble in fear. What was that?" gasped Sarah, their resident geologist. "It's him. The Abominable Snowman," whispered John, the team's seasoned mountaineer, his voice quivering with equal parts terror and excitement. Without warning, a towering figure emerged from the shadows. Covered in icy fur and sporting immense fangs, the Abominable Snowman stood before them, its piercing red eyes burning with rage. Dr. Morrison, surprisingly calm, stepped forward, her voice steady. "We mean you no harm. We are scientists, here to study the changing climate." The creature regarded her with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. "Scientists, humans, why have you disturbed my solitude and trespassed into my home?" Dr. Morrison quickly explained their purpose, hoping to reason with the snowman. "We simply seek knowledge, to understand what is happening to this fragile ecosystem." The Abominable Snowman remained silent for a moment, contemplating their words. Finally, it spoke, its voice a low rumble. "You may continue your study. But beware, for the balance of nature is delicate." The team nodded in agreement, promising to respect the snowman's home and the delicate equilibrium that governed it. With newfound understanding, the creature retreated into the shadows. Relieved yet enlightened, the team resumed their research, documenting the impact of climate change with renewed fervor. But deep down, they knew their encounter with the Abominable Snowman would forever change them. As the weeks passed, Dr. Morrison couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She noticed peculiar footprints in the snow, delightfully smaller in size. She wondered if these were the tracks of the snowman's offspring. One day, as she examined a particularly intriguing ice formation, something caught her eye. A glimmer of red amidst the ice, blinking like a dying ember. with a mix of apprehension and wonder. Dr. Morrison chipped away at the ice, revealing a small, baby snowman. Its eyes gleamed with curiosity, mirroring her own. "Well, hello there," she whispered, extending her gloved hand. The baby snowman hesitated for a moment before cautiously reaching out, its tiny frosty fingers wrapping around her own. In that instant, a connection formed between the scientific mind and the mythic creature. Dr. Morrison couldn't help but feel an overwhelming surge of protectiveness towards the fragile, innocent baby. She vowed to do everything in her power to ensure its well-being. However, news of the team's discovery spread quickly, and before they knew it, a relentless horde of greedy poachers descended upon their camp, seeking to capture the elusive snow creatures. Dr. Morrison knew she had to act fast to protect her newfound family. Gathering her team, she devised a plan to outsmart the mercenary hunters. Sarah, the geologist, carefully crafted a network of tunnels beneath the ice, leading the snowmen away from camp and towards safety. It was a race against time. As the poachers closed in on their position, the team herded the baby snowmen through the secret tunnels, their feet sinking into the soft snow. Dr. Morrison could almost hear their heartbeats pounding in sync with hers. Just as they reached the final tunnel, a gunshot echoed across the frozen landscape. The poachers had discovered their ruse, and chaos erupted. Bullets whizzed past, narrowly missing the team. Screams of frustration filled the icy air as the hunters realized their coveted creatures were slipping through their fingers. The baby snowmen stumbled and squealed, fear etched in their eyes. Dr. Morrison pushed forward, determination blazing in her gaze. She would not let them down. With a deep breath, she yelled, "Hold on tight, everyone. We're almost there." Hearts pounding, they emerged from the tunnels, the blinding white of the Arctic blizzard obscuring their way. The relentless wind howled in their ears, but their resolve remained unbroken. Guiding the snowmen through the storm, Dr. Morrison forged ahead, leading her team towards a hidden cave she had discovered during her research. It would provide an impenetrable sanctuary. Finally, they reached the refuge, the cave entrance swallowing them into its protective embrace. As they huddled together, the baby snowmen nestled against their protectors, seeking warmth and safety. The poachers, disoriented by the storm, gave up the chase. Their greedy dreams shattered, they retreated to the barren wilderness, leaving the team and the snowmen unharmed. Dr. Morrison breathed a sigh of relief, grateful that her family had escaped harm's way. But she knew that the battle to protect the fragile ecosystem was far from over. In the following months, the team worked tirelessly to raise awareness about the plight of the Arctic and its enchanted inhabitants. Their findings reverberated through scientific communities, governments, and even Hollywood. The world became captivated by the story of the Abominable Snowman and the team of scientists. Donations poured in to support their conservation efforts, and global initiatives were launched to protect Earth's most vulnerable regions. Dr. Morrison, now a recognized authority on climate change, dedicated her life to fighting for the rights of all endangered species. Her research drew the lines between scientific progress and environmental stewardship. As she sat in her study, surrounded by awards and accolades, a documentary about her and the baby snowmen flickered on the screen. She smiled, knowing that her journey had only just begun. Suddenly, a knock on her door startled her. Opening it, she was greeted by a wiry young man in a puffy winter coat, his face flushed from the cold. "Dr. Morrison." "Sorry to barge in like this," he panted, "but I think I found something incredible." Dr. Morrison's curiosity piqued. She motioned for him to continue. "What is it?" The young man nervously scratched his head. "I was on a backpacking trip in the Himalayas, And I swear I saw footprints, massive footprints. Just like the ones you found in the Arctic. Doctor, Morrison's heart skipped a beat. Perhaps the abominable snowman wasn't just a legend relegated to the confines of the Arctic after all. Eyes gleaming with a renewed sense of adventure, Doctor, Morrison declared, let's go investigate together. We may be on the brink of discovering an entirely new chapter in science. The young man's face lit up in excitement. You mean it? You'll take me with you? Doctor, Morrison nodded, her scientific spirit reignited. We're embarking on a journey that will unveil the secrets of the world. Who knows what we'll find? The two adventurers set off, leaving their comfort zones behind as they traveled to the mystical Himalayan peaks. They were driven by the thirst for knowledge and the desire to protect the world's most enigmatic creatures. As they trekked through treacherous snow-covered terrain, the echoes of the abominable snowman's legend whispered in the wind. Doctor, Morrison had always been a skeptic, but now, she couldn't help but believe. Finally, they reached a hidden valley, untouched by humanity's encroachment. Majestic mountains towered over them, their peaks hidden in fluffy white clouds. Just as Dr. Morrison marveled at the breathtaking sight, a low growl echoed through the valley. The young man gripped her arm, fear and awe mingling in his gaze. The snow cracked beneath them, and there it was, the abominable snowman, larger than life. Its eyes glowed with ancient wisdom and an unexpected hint of recognition. Dr. Morrison and the young man stood frozen in awe as the majestic creature regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and familiarity. You remember me? Doctor, Morrison gasped, her voice a mere whisper. The abominable snowman rumbled, and to her surprise, it responded in a deep, melodic voice. Your courage brought compassion to my world. How could I forget? Tears welled up in Dr. Morrison's eyes, her scientific mind humbled by the living embodiment of a legend. We want to understand, to help you. The snowman nodded, its enormous frame casting a shadow over them. You have already done more than you know. Continue your work. Protect the wonders of this earth. Dr. Morrison's heart swelled with gratitude as she vowed once again to be the voice of all creatures threatened by humanity's blind progress. With a final roar that reverberated through the snowy peaks, the abominable snowman retreated into the vastness of the Himalayas, leaving Dr. Morrison and the young man to marvel at the journey they had been part of. In that moment, with the knowledge and responsibility in their hearts, they turned their backs on the snowy valley, ready to face a new era of discovery and conservation. For they knew that only together could they protect the fragile world they had come to love.